What the? Have you heard? Nerd's the word. Welcome to tonight's episode of Nerd's the Word. Tonight we're going to talk about computer specs and computer builds. Tonight I got my guest with me, Professor D. I think that's what we decided what we're going to call you now, is Professor D. Well, okay, so let's just go right into it. Let's go over computer builds and what you need to know. What are your first steps on, say I want to build a computer. Why would anybody want to build their own computer? Let's start there.
It saves money and customization.
Okay, to save money, customization.
Well, usually save money. If you do it correctly,
Okay.
it would save you at least a few hundred off of a pre-built. Depending what
Okay,
parts you
well,
choose.
okay, well, I mean, tell me the difference. I mean, so I bought a brand new tower. Didn't build one, just bought it like it was not that long ago. I'd spent a couple $100 on it. I'm not going to go into how much exactly I spent on it, but I spent a few $100s on it. Why is that better? Or sorry, why is building a computer better?
Well, it's not necessarily for everybody, but it's something I'd look into when you're getting your next computer.
Okay, again, tell me why.
When you buy a pre-built, there's an upcharge, obviously. They're basically charging you a convenience fee because it's already made for you. All the parts have been picked out.
Okay. So, the parts that come with the computer, I mean... Okay, so maybe I'm not wording it right. My question is buying the tower the pre-made parts, is that better?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Explain to me the difference between the building my own computer versus going to go buy one. I bought a computer, but if I was to go build one, that would be better?
Supposedly, it just depends. A
On
lot of
what?
times the pre-builts might come with a limited warranty of some sort.
Okay.
Meanwhile, with the custom, it's per part, so you're going to have to figure out which part is causing the problem and send that in. So there is that going for pre-builts, but again, there's an upcharge.
Okay. So... Okay, so what's the first thing you need to know when you go to build your computer? I mean, who builds their own computers? What type of people are
I
there?
would say typically gamers or just people doing high-end things like video editing,
Okay.
or things like that.
Someone who... Okay, so I'm a casual gamer, but I play MMOs. I play games that do require a lot of GPU as well as memory, that sort of thing. Am I a candidate to build my own computer?
I'd say so. Some of those MMOs aren't very graphically intensive, so you might not need the beefiest graphics card ever.
Okay. All right. Well, say I'm setting out to build my own computer right now. What's the first thing I need to do? What's step one?
Step one is outline what the computer is being used for. Like, if all you do is check your email and browse the web, then buying like an Intel Celeron or Pentium's just fine.
So buying a
And
standard pre-build.
using the onboard graphics on the CPU, you wouldn't even have to buy a GPU if you did that.
Okay.
That's all you're going to do.
Okay. But say I'm a gamer, so that I'm not using it for that reason. So what else then?
So you said you're a gamer.
I'm a gamer. I'm not using it just for simply browsing the web.
I suppose you're going to identify how far into the future you want to use this,
Okay.
and also what types of games you're using.
Do built computers last longer than a pre-built, say?
If you pick your parts correctly, then yes.
Okay, so...
Like, for example, game developers been kind of stagnating here these past several years. Most games will only use 1 or 2 cores, so you don't maybe don't have to throw a whole bunch of money on a CPU. If you're to build a game PC right now today, your main focus is going to be the GPU.
Okay. GPU being the graphics.
Yes.
Okay.
Graphics card.
Right. Okay, so like I said, as being a gamer, I'm looking to build my computer. What kind of? So my question was: does a pre-built or does a built computer last longer than a pre-built? Is it easier to customize or easier to upgrade than a pre-built?
Yeah, I would say so. A lot of times pre-builts have little. What's the word I'm looking for? Usually, yes. A lot of times pre-builts are also in smaller cases too, which makes it extremely hard to say add in a better graphics card because usually those are bigger.
Okay.
And oftentimes pre-builts also come with basically the bare minimum power supply as possible.
Okay. So, okay, well, could I take my existing pre-built and say customize it into a build my own computer? Or is it being the smaller case, is it just not even worth it?
It would just depend on which pre-build it is.
Okay. All right, so I decided that I'm going to build a computer for gaming. So that's my purpose for it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so what's the next step?
Well, you got to identify what kind of games you're going to play.
Right.
So if you're playing the latest and greatest, then
right.
you're going to want to see what kind of requirements those are having, kind of anticipate the future a bit.
What about a budget? What can I expect for a budget?
I'd say set a budget and stick to it. I mean, PC parts are cheaper than ever now, so
really. So it's the
budget.
Individual pieces that. So what am I paying for then when I buy a pre-built? Am I paying for somebody that already put it together for me? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like for example, let's use a price point. Let's use $500. That can get you a pretty nice gaming PC if you built it yourself. Meanwhile, dropping that same amount of money on a pre-built might get you a nice computer, but it might not have a GPU. It'll have the onboard graphics.
And,
or if it does have its own GPU, it's not very nice.
So a onboard GPU or onboard the graphics card versus the individual graphics card.
Yes.
Tell me the difference between the two.
Well, the onboard is actually on the CPU itself.
Okay.
So there's not a whole lot of room there.
Okay.
For this giant, powerful GPU, and it's just the bare minimum.
Okay.
It's used just to get a display going. Maybe watch some videos, something like that. It's not.
So it's really bare minimum stuff.
Yeah, it's not for rendering. It's not for gaming usually.
Okay.
Although some of AMD's APUs are more gaming oriented.
Right. Well, I can say okay, so my pre-built I got right now.
Another thing.
Yes.
Onboard graphics don't have their own memory. They use your system RAM.
Okay.
As the VRAM, so it also takes away performance from the rest of the system because it's eating up the memory. So like if you only have, like let's say you have a system that for some reason has 6 gigs of RAM, the onboard's taking up 2 gigs of that.
Okay.
It's just taking up resources.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
Like a discrete GPU that's on its own, that goes in the PCI Express slot, that has its own dedicated set.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, how long have you been building computers?
Well, I did my first complete from the ground up build a few years ago, and alongside that I also built 2 for friends, so that whole week I was building computers. Then before that I just did partial stuff like replacing hard drives or adding a graphics card or a power supply, but never 100%.
Well, okay, I was going to ask, how long does it take to build from ground up?
Just depends on what parts.
Say I got all my pieces. All my pieces are together. They're sitting right in front of me. All I got to do is put them in.
Well, your first time you don't want to be in a rush, but I would say maybe an hour should be good.
Really? I was expecting a lot more than that.
And it also depends on just how tidy you make it. I suppose with the cables, I like to really do that, especially like tuck them behind the motherboard, maximize airflow. I like to carefully plan it, so maybe I'll take a little bit longer.
Okay.
And that's not including time to install Windows.
Okay. Well, I can imagine, yeah, the installation of the software could be time-consuming as well.
Yeah, that's just to get the hardware itself made.
Right.
Where you're ready to plug it in and start it up.
Okay. So as we record this, we're recording live. I know we got a few people joining us, which is great. Hi, guys. How are you? If you guys have any questions on the building computers, write them in. We'll try and answer them the best we can. So I went to a website and I picked out all the stuff I wanted to build my dream machine.
Well, that's another good point, but go ahead.
No, well, okay. So I built out my dream machine. And again, I'm not going to go over price of how much it is. It's an expensive machine that I can't drop at once. So what should I do?
I honestly, when I did my first personal machine completely from the ground up, I bought it piece by piece, and that's not a good strategy because prices shift all the time. You have to keep track of that. Like, for example, I bought my RAM, my 8 gig set, when 8 gigs costed $90, and now it's $35 a few years later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually, just later that year, it was down to $50 already, and those 2 sticks I bought ended up dying. So it's things like that. And those few months that I have them sitting around, the 90-day period, it's up.
Huh. Interesting.
So
okay.
I would buy everything all at once, or within the same couple weeks at least.
Okay. So
another thing is, sometimes you'll buy something and it sits around, and then a few months later, something better comes out that's at the same price point.
Okay. Well, I get that. I mean, being in the computer field as well.
Like, for example,
even stuff that a year and a half is considered old. It changes so fast.
Yes. If you had a $200 budget for a graphics card last fall, you were probably looking at an R9 380 if you're going to AMD's side. That same amount of money will get you an RX 480 this spring. Not this coming spring, this past spring.
Well,
summer
later
now.
upgrade, yeah.
And that's twice as powerful. So
okay.
If somebody bought their GPU last fall and they ran into money trouble and they've had it sitting around, I mean, they kind of lost in the end with that. They got burned.
Okay. All right.
Another thing about picking out parts is go to PCPartPicker.com. It checks everything to make sure it's compatible. Like, let's say you went to a computer parts website, you're shopping around, and you pick a CPU cooler that's too big for the case you selected. I mean, it's going to warn you about that. It checks everything. Or if you selected RAM that's too high speed for your motherboard,
so whatever parts you pick out,
versa.
it actually builds you a virtual machine to see if it'll work.
I wouldn't recommend building a computer until you visited this site to make sure everything you want is compatible with each other.
Well, that's interesting. See, I didn't know anything about that.
It also does a wattage estimate too. It's
so to test out your power supply, the power supplies you might need.
Like before I built mine, well, mine's gone through several phases since then. It's hardly the machine it first was. I've replaced so many parts.
Well, okay, that goes into what I initially said.
Not because I had to, just because
that goes into what I initially said. Does a built PC last longer than a pre-built? I mean, I could have a pre-built for years and years, but I can't upgrade it. I could, but I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, with a custom, there's a temptation, but you don't have to.
Right.
Like I'm saying, I've done mine, and the wattage calculator, what I was getting to was the wattage calculator on there is pretty spot on.
Okay.
I think at maximum, when I first built it, it pulled like 400 watts, and that's about what it said it would.
Okay.
So it'll give you a maximum of what you can expect, so you pick a power supply accordingly.
Okay. See, what else I have for you? I wanted to pick your brain a little bit more about the building the computer. Oh, okay. Question.
Well, let's lay out the steps so far.
Okay.
So identify what you're doing with it.
Budget.
Budget, yep. Stick to the budget.
Right,
stick to the budget. Don't completely blow yours like mine. Identify what it's being used for. Or was that the first step?
That was the first step. Identify what it's being used for. Pick your budget. Stick to it.
Pick your parts. Make sure they're compatible.
Okay, make sure your parts are compatible. And your recommendation is try and get them all at once or within a couple weeks of each other. Versus, say I got an extra $130, I'm going to go buy this piece now.
The PC part picker, it has price history.
Okay.
It'll put it on a graph for you, so you can see how it's fluctuated over time.
Oh, that's nice. A PC part picker. I'm going to look into that. That's nice. I like that. All right.
That's an essential website for doing this.
What about hardware that you might need to help put your computer together? What kind of hardware do you need to look into getting?
You mean tools?
Tools, yeah, tools themselves.
Oh, they sell kits on Amazon that are specifically made for this, but really,
I mean, honestly,
I think with mine, all I used was a screwdriver, and I didn't even need that for everything. Like, for example, my case is toolless. Like, the side panel.
I assume you grind yourself too, right? You gotta.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You obviously want to grind yourself.
I've built some without it before and been fine. It just depends on the environment. You got to watch the humidity, all that good stuff.
But to be safe, to be 100% positive.
Yeah. Never build in a super dry, like zero humidity.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact percentage though that they require, but lower humidity, more static.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
But a lot of parts these days are built to standards to where they can withstand just a tiny bit of static, but still, I would ground yourself.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Just to be
I was just kind of in a hurry with a couple builds I've done over the years.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you something. Okay, so before I bought my pre-built, I checked around several different sites. I looked at several different companies. One of the I knew I had a little bit more money to spend on in my pre-built, and I knew I wanted something a little bit more powerful than what I had gotten in the past. And one of the ones I was looking into, one of the sites I went on to was Alienware. Now, my pre-built is nothing spectacular. It's nothing to
I have something to say about Alienware and all those companies, but I'll get to it.
It's nothing aesthetically pleasing. It's a simple, small tower. What I'm getting at is I typed in the specs that I got from my current pre-built. I typed in the specs that I got for it into Alienware, and I was looking to pay almost 3 times that much on Alienware if I got something with just a prettier case.
Yeah.
What went wrong here?
Well, Alienware and companies like that, they take advantage of the gamer audience, people that don't know a whole lot about computers but know enough that they want to get into it.
Okay.
So they'll buy something that says gaming or a gamer on it. That's a moniker that a lot of companies, even like I think my motherboard is a gaming series.
So it's I want a gaming computer, but I don't really want to build it myself. I'll just go buy a computer that says gaming computer on it.
Yeah, when really you could buy one that's pretty ordinary, upgrade the GPU and power supply, and be set.
See, my pre-built's pretty ordinary. It's a last series GPU. It's a 730 NVIDIA.
Oh, I had one of those. It was.
Well, I like mine. So for a pre-built, I think I got a pretty good deal on it. So, but Alienware, their cases, their chassis, those are flat out sexy.
Another bone I've picked with Alienware is it's owned by Dell. I think Dell bought them like 10 or 15 years ago, so it's really just rebranded Dell parts, motherboards, disk drives, things like that. And I've heard it's not very reliable.
Really?
I haven't worked on an Alienware myself or seen a broken one, but
okay. All right. Well, do you have anything you want to wrap up as far as? Yeah. Okay. So
another thing is, if you're about to buy one of these gaming branded PCs, look at all the specs you can find. Go to PC Part Picker and pick yourself out a machine with the exact same specs, but maybe a plainer case, and compare the prices, and then you'll see what I mean. You know, buying pre-built versus building your own.
Okay.
It really goes in price from gaming branded stuff, pre-built that's got good enough specs for gaming but isn't branded as gaming, and then custom.
Okay.
Custom is almost always the cheapest. I can't think of any scenarios I've seen recently where a pre-built would be cheaper.
And it kind of makes me wish before I bought my pre-built that I would have been a little bit more patient on that.
If I knew the exact specs of your pre-built and what you paid for it, I could tell you just if you got burned badly or if you're okay. It's situational. It varies.
Yeah.
Just depends on what you want to do.
Well, I think what I'm getting out of this conversation is be patient when you go and buy your PC and look at all your options.
Another thing is maybe look up some guides, like watch some videos of people building a computer. Maybe we could do one for the show sometime.
Okay.
And if that looks like it's too much for you and your technological abilities, then maybe avoid it and just get yourself a nice pre-built.
Or maybe know somebody who knows how to do
it.
it.
And have someone upgrade the graphics card or something if you're a gamer.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add in?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right, Big D. Hey, Big D, Professor D. Hey, I really appreciate you joining me and talking about this. I know this is, I'm not the most adept when it comes to building computers. I've never done it myself. These are some questions I know I had. I'm sure somebody out there has questions like these as well. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to write in the comments section, or you can email me at nerdsthewordshow@gmail.com. We'll try and get your questions answered. I'll even read them on the show, and we'll get them answered for you on the show as well. I don't really have anything else. If you guys like what you see, you guys want to see more, you can follow us at Twitter at nerdstheword1 on Twitter. You can also follow us at nerdstheword1 on Facebook as well. And that's about it. Like and subscribe on the show. And do you have anything you want to plug?
No. I don't think I do.
All right. Hey, thanks guys for joining us. Those who tuned in live, I really appreciate it. Next time, send me some questions. We'll read them on the air live, and we'll answer them live. I know I'm having some issues with the slow internet connection, so maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, and well, something I would like to have. Maybe we could, if they have enough questions, we could do a follop episode of this.
Oh yeah,
a bit more
that'd
organized.
be great. Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to do.
I'm doing this live on the spot, so I'm kind of.
I would love to do a live question and answer, and really have everybody kind of pick your brain, and then we'll really throw you on the spot. And we'll do that live as well.
Well, I mean, I have the answers when it comes to computers, so.
So as long as I give you the question, you can give me the answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Hey guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Hey guys, if you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, feel free to go to YouTube and subscribe. Make sure you like our show. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section, or you can email us at nerdsthewordshow@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at nerdstheword1, or on Twitter at nerdstheword1 as well. You can also follow me individually at real_Kanai. Just to give you guys a heads up for next week's episode. Next week we're going to cover the SummerSlam pay-per-view for WWE that they're going to have on Sunday. And then also on Sunday is the returning of Fear the Walking Dead. And we're going to go over our first impressions of that first episode as well. So, really big week next week. We look forward to seeing you guys then. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thanks.